Well, in the first case, South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson is suing the city of Columbia for passing a state of emergency that requires masks in schools for workers and those aged under 12. In the second, Richland School District 2 is asking the court to suspend the mask ban until it can rule on the city's Columbia case. Today, the arguments in the state Supreme Court all came down to money and whether state funds can be spent to enforce a mask mandate. In the second hearing of the day, attorney Carl Solomon argued on behalf of the Richland 2 School District.
The Department of Education can take your state funds. This disincentive is designed to control the actions of school boards throughout the state on a policy issue. It's not about the money. So the proviso is addressing a policy that is not money related. Yeah.
Solomon argues that Proviso 1.108 is unconstitutionally vague because it doesn't allow a person to understand what can and cannot be spent. South Carolina Supreme Court Justice John Few responded to Solomon's statement.
The policy that is embedded in that proviso is not about the money. It's about masks. But the question is whether the state has the power using a budget proviso to implement a policy that is not about the money.
The state is arguing that salaries paid to teachers and administrators enforcing a mask mandate are paid for with state money, and that there's no way for districts to ensure state funds aren't being used when, for example, a teacher tells a student to put on a mask.
As has been discussed, enforcement, commingling. Is a teacher going to put on her hat, being paid by the state or not?
Richland School District 2 is asking the justices to suspend the mask ban until a ruling can be made on today's first court hearing. South Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Donald Beatty ensured all decisions would be made based on law, saying they aren't medical professionals or politicians.
All of these negative things are just coming and they're piling one on top of another.
Financial strain.
We are facing eviction right now.
Job loss.
I was doing security.
The pandemic.
My wife tested positive for COVID.
So Eric's 3 young children are in quarantine from their Horry County schools.
With my wife being positive for COVID and not feeling her best health-wise, I've had to pick up a lot of extra duties around the house. It's new to me because they were always in school most of the day.
That's where his 3 kids, ages 9, 10, and 11, knew they'd get at least 2 meals a day. We're keeping their names and faces private. Now at home, Eric says they're facing food insecurity.
We're running out of food quickly, and now we're on quarantine. Can't go anywhere or can't do anything.
But this is just one example of a nationwide issue. Nonprofit Feeding America says the pandemic has caused 13 million children to experience food insecurity, mostly impacting families already facing hunger or just one paycheck away from it.
We have helped feed, tens of thousands of people.
And access to food for students in these Horry County schools quarantines is on the United Way of Horry County's radar.
We're monitoring that with them and with our other partners. Because obviously we don't want anyone to go hungry in our community.
There were plenty of times that my kids, they had to go without.
But Eric says he's doing his best, tracking down food banks to make sure his family gets what they need while at home.
But when they do finally get back in school, that'd be a huge relief.
Now, Horry County School spokesperson says all students will receive free breakfast and lunch this year. That's regardless of their family's income status or proof of enrollment. She says if food insecurities are a need in the community due to instructional changes, they will partner with food banks again in the future.
Well, some Florida students are upset tonight after being sent home from school for not wearing a mask. 17-year-old Philip Harrison says that he is a senior at South Florida's high school. The district recently approved a mask mandate for all of the students and the staff members. Harrington says that he was told to either put on a mask or go home. So he says he went home. Other parents say they were told the same thing for their kids, and they don't believe it's fair.
I totally believe it's a right to choose. If you want to wear one, hey, you can wear one. If not, it's all about a choice here.
We were given school, this choice because they're our children. When you're trying to make a mandate or trying for something that you don't have the test to back it up.
And a couple of parents say that they do plan to take their children out of school and homeschool them. We've reached out to Florence One Schools and we're currently waiting to hear back.
As COVID cases rise, so are quarantine numbers, and that's concerning a lot of parents. In Horry and Georgetown counties, if kids are exposed to positive case, they're at home for 14 days. And some parents tell me their kids are not getting full lessons and worry about their education. But school district officials say a bill signed in April requires teachers to get extra compensation if they're doing extra work outside the classroom for virtual lessons. It's called dual modality, preventing teachers from doing both in-person and virtual learning at the same time. And that's a big hurdle right now for school district officials. So coming up tonight on ABC 15 News at 5 and 6, I talk with a parent in Georgetown County who's worried about his son's education as he's home quarantining after being exposed to COVID and what he's asking the district to do.